looking to yesterday.
All right.
Romantic vote.
Cool. Hi. Hey, hi. Hello. Today's going to be, I wouldn't call it a low-key day, but an open-ended day because these are the last two classes before break. After break, what happens?
Presentation.
In-class presentations. Texas. So I want to give you some time to work, ask questions, get stuff done here because this is independent work time for business plans. Your plans are due February 16th. They should be done going into break so that you can practice them on break so that you're ready for when you come back. So I'm going to give you most of the day to ask questions, to work independently, to work with each other, but to actually dig into those business plans for an hour and a half here, asking questions of others and me and Jody. But before I do that, Valentine's Day. So I don't know if anybody was like out in the world earlier today or maybe this week, but today at the coffee shop I saw they had a whole setup of roses and flowers that you could purchase today for $25, which there's like this really old guy and he just looks at me, he's like, "That's say 25 or 250?" He's like, "Because in my day those would have been 250." And I was like, "All right, old man, like we get it. Everything's different now." But $25, way too much for me. And then they had heart-shaped baguettes, food person. They had bread shaped like hearts. So I just got to thinking, like, what else is out there? So who else has seen anything out there in terms of Valentine's Day, seizing an entrepreneurial opportunity, the root of an opportunity? Anybody?
Layla with her lollipops.
So Layla, are you selling lollipops or something?
Yeah.
Fantastic, I love that. Heart-shaped lollipops? Imagine that. Go
Messages.
with messages, like a sort of an update on the little,
No, so like you can like send it, buy it for someone.
Oh, so you can put a personalized message on it, or it's wow, love that. All right, so we got some heart-shaped lollipops with messages. Anybody else seen any Valentine's Day specials out there in the world?
Rice Krispie treats with messages on them.
Right, who's doing that?
You know, like
Kellogg's?
they're selling little Rice Krispie treats with like I love and stuff on it.
All right, so Kellogg's is actually doing these things, kind of like these are all little riffs off of the little, what are they? The conversation hearts? What are those things? Sweethearts, yeah, that's what they are. What else? Anything else? This guy's looking at drills on his computer right now. I don't think he's here about Valentine's Day.
I seen like there's like really good baskets that probably like yay high over there by Mobile on Elmwood. They're going for like $12.
Wow,
That's a steal.
that's a steal. The bigger the better, right?
Yeah. We out there all day.
Duncan has a Valentine's Day Snapchat filter. All right, so this is like the real, I mean, this is 21st century stuff now. I mean, this is like cutting edge, bleeding edge. Snapchat, Valentine's Day Snapchat
They
filters.
have like the little heart donuts too.
Yeah.
Those
Heart
are cute.
donuts.
Those were good.
Anybody have an idea for their business that they would think, once they're in business for a full year, you come talk to me next year, at this time you've been in business, what Valentine's Day promotion are you running? What are you running?
Like a buy one get one free sale situation, because it's like you gotta get something, and you got a girlfriend, you got a boyfriend, you got a partner, you got a lover, you got a mistress, you got a mistress, you got
So you got,
get one for them, you get one for you.
so a one for one sort of thing.
Exactly.
Right, okay, fair enough. What about you over there? You probably got something that you could do.
Doggy baskets.
Okay, doggy baskets. Yeah, if you're in love with your dog, yep, you can do that. But I'm trying to think of like, for you, why do you think Valentine, what, doggy sitting? Like, leave your dog at home and you guys can go out for a romantic
Yeah, but you
evening?
could also buy your dog a basket so your
She's
dog
like,
feels
"I'll
welcome.
take
Yeah, fair. You're right.
I'll make a basket.
You're
You
right.
can buy that too.
All right, so you doggy basket, keep the dog, home there, let the people go out. What else? What other promotions are you running next Valentine? I mean, you already ran one. What'd you do?
Oh, I do roses.
Roses. All right, so anything else for next year?
I made like this Valentine's Day box. So like a heart box. So you open the flaps and like a little message inside.
Pretty nice. All right. So this, who else? What else?
I could sell ties with hearts or cufflinks that got hearts.
You could sell ties with. Well, by the way, too, I feel like, is this a day where people go out to dinner and want to look nice, want to like impress people, right? Okay, so maybe you embroider some hearts on that thing. All right. Card man, not gonna volunteer anything. No, nothing. Next year you're running no promotions for Valentine's Day.
No. Yeah, probably.
What's that?
Probably.
Probably what?
Yeah, I'll probably sell Valentine's Day cards next year.
Oh, really? Don't strain yourself. No special promotion, no thing you're thinking about that could be like a little bit more interesting than just cards, for instance. Maybe you want to partner with somebody. Maybe Mookie's got a good idea for these Valentine's Day baskets. Maybe you want to come over here and get some
Every
origami.
time you buy a Valentine's Day card, you get one of Mookie's cookies.
You get a Mookie cookie. All right, fair enough. Anybody else? Any Woo to Tag promotions?
Nah.
No.
I'll probably do something like I have to do it like people if they love their car.
I like that. That could be good. I like that. This is a nice extension.
Couldn't think of nothing.
I love my
exactly.
car so much, she has a name.
Yeah, I seen
Yeah,
that.
mine's the Millennium Falcon.
This is good. I like this. That's a good one.
I wasn't sure how you would be able to do it.
TIMA.
Well, let me say this. Today I went to a bakery and they had heart-shaped bread. Like, come on. If they can make a heart-shaped bread, you can do anything for Valentine's Day, right? Like bread has nothing to do with anything. So yeah, I think that's a better one than that, right? People do love their cars. Yeah.
I could have a promotional event at participating universities where I talk about consent and how that's the best present you could give somebody for Valentine's Day.
I think that, so I was waiting for, this seems to be a holiday around love and respect and relationships. So I think that, yeah, that would be a pretty great thing to do, some sort of an event specifically around consent. Funny that this lady should be here talking on Valentine's Day. I don't know that it was an accident, but it
I don't think.
could potentially be. She spoke at Roger Williams University yesterday, so I think she's just in town. So anyhow, you had a hand.
Yeah, I could make a dinner for a couple.
No.
You could make a dinner for a couple, absolutely, right? You could maybe make some pre-packed meals, right? Like
What
those,
about like a pop-up restaurant?
a pop-up restaurant in some really romantic spots, sell some tickets to it.
Aww.
I'll buy. You set it up, I'll buy it.
You gotta promote that really well.
I should have done that.
Next year, write it down.
I'm
Write it
gonna
down.
rest.
You were busy selling carnations.
Yeah.
Carla and Leah made a little bit of cash, not to, toot their horn or anything, but they got a little bit of money in their business accounts now. Anybody else? Valentine's Day. Yeah,
His and hers t-shirts.
his and hers t-shirts.
Oh, those are so corny.
It
I
seems
know,
to
but-
be limitless.
How about
I mean, James, his and her t-shirts, people in there, they were putting faces on shirts. People were getting their girlfriends, boyfriends put on their shirts so they could wear them around.
I was gonna do that, get my girlfriend a hoodie with my shirt on it.
Has anybody
Nobody
actually
did their
ever
shirt.
done a
I
Valentine's Day
didn't
promotion?
You gotta put me on the spot.
Has anyone purchased a Valentine's Day promotion? So you all just gave me some examples what you could do for your business. Anybody?
I bought that thing from, what's his name? Sean. From Sean, the little teddy bear. with
Oh, nice.
Flowers.
Right.
At,
Flowers.
At Cumbies. So cheap right now. So
Cumberland
cheap.
Farms flowers. I like that. It came from a
So
farm.
cheap.
Came from a beautiful farm in Cumberland.
You should think about like there's a lot of people who don't necessarily have Valentine's and might just want to show show the love that they have for themselves. You know what I mean?
true. Oh, man, that's
Right.
good.
Ooh,
Right.
wow.
Why do you-
A self-love day. Wow. Whew.
Why do you think I
I
bought
bought
this
flowers. What do you
lollipop
think I
right
bought
here?
them for?
I should
Self-
buy myself a
Like-
flowers.
I should have
Love day.
I wanna buy myself a
We can invent a whole new holiday. This is great. Self-love day. All right. I like
that.
this. We're gonna promote this. Should we pick the same date? Should we stay on the same date or should we?
Yeah.
You want to go head to head with Valentine's Day and Cupid? All right. What's our tagline? Cupid stupid?
Yeah.
Stupid Cupid.
Stupid Cupid. All right. Anybody else? I purchased one like 2 years ago. It's just like the worst. I did it because my friend, his mom runs a gym, and she ran a promotion called Sweat with Your Sweetie. and like you go to the gym. It was horrible.
Yeah, that's
It was the
terrible.
worst. We were like doing like these weird push-ups and like everything was like afterwards like, do your wrist hurt? my wrist really hurt, right? That was like how we spent Valentine's Day. It's like with a broken wrist. Okay. Anybody else? What?
Well, I didn't buy anything except for Storm Ford's EP just came out today. It's sort of anti-Valentine's, so.
Oh, a little
Look at it.
anti-Valentine's Day.
SoundCloud, Highest Mountain.
Highest
Support.
mountain. Yeah, I'll support that. Let me write that down so everybody can see it. Storm took E360, so I gotta.
It's so good. I was crying today.
Storm can really sing. Storm can really sing. SoundCloud, you said?
And then it'll be on Apple Music and Spotify in a couple weeks.
I like the idea of dropping it on Valentine's Day as an anti-Valentine's Day, or like a broken heart sort of love thing. I love that. I mean, it's the self-love day, kind of. We learned a word for this. Who did we ever? What's the word? If I'm releasing an album around like anti-love,
Oh!
someone beat him.
No,
Someone
it's
beat him.
that, contrarian.
Oh.
Bang.
I would say turkey.
Contrarian.
What were you gonna say? Turkey?
Obvious.
So there's something to be said for being a contrarian on a day when everybody's doing one thing, you do the opposite thing, and people are going to pay attention to it. They're at least going to be interested,
Somebody should sell breakup cards.
right? Right? This is great.
Maybe a
cold.
good idea.
Great.
I would probably punch
Cold.
somebody that
The
broke up
only
with me.
day of love.
Special
That's
day.
it.
All right, let's do that. What do we got first? So wait, we got breakup cards.
Wait.
One of them has seen a card on Etsy.
I'm a fan.
For $7.
What other contrarian ideas? What other contrarian Valentine's Day
Broken
ideas?
heart, pieces of bread.
Broken heart.
Broken heart bread.
Broken heart bread.
Dead
Yeah.
flowers.
What's that?
Dead flowers.
Dead flowers. What else?
Like bugs running in it.
What else? Dead flowers,
I heard Valentine's.
breakup cards, broken heart bread.
Pop balloons.
What's that? Pop balloons.
Teddy bears that include hearts attached to them on fire.
So fiery bears.
Yeah.
Instead of Cupid to be like demons.
Or
Baby
take a
demons.
teddy bear paw and put it back together like Mr. Potato Head.
Baby demon.
This is like a bad thing to say on Teddy Day, but it's like on Teddy Day. Something else.
All right, that's enough about that.
I don't know about that.
Oh,
Smooth.
come on. Dressed to impress? Nothing? I don't know.
I don't know, fancy dresses.
You got Gentleman's Essence right next to you. So the guys get all dressed up in their suits and their embroidered stuff. And what's going on? What do you got? Dresses or something. You know, everybody's trying to like look fancy for their dates. I was at the coffee shop this morning. Place was packed with people eating the other person's stuff. Everyone's like, let's share the cookie today. It's like, just eat your cookie.
Like
Just-
I'd be like,
Just eat your cookie.
get your own cookie.
Get your own cookie. I don't love you like that. Please.
I dedicate these donuts to
All right, that was Valentine's Day. Ron Sachs. Ron Sachs.
saxophone.
Does anybody want to? We don't have to. Does anybody want to? Were you sitting there like, I think I know what you're talking about a little bit, but I'm not gonna ask, but I am kind of interested. Or who's just like, no, I'm good. That went over my head and it can stay above my head. Who wants to know more?
I was deep.
I want his contact information.
I will give you his
I do
contact
too.
information. Yep. Anybody have any questions regarding what we talked about, what you did or didn't understand? Anything? Anything? Blockchain, Bitcoin, all that sort of stuff? Yeah, so I know you have questions.
What is blockchain, Brian?
How much is he worth?
What is the blockchain?
How much is he worth? I don't know how much is he worth. Are you trolling me right now? I feel like you're trolling me. Nobody knows what the blockchain is.
I have no idea what the blockchain is.
Does anybody actually want to know other than Liam? All right, thank you.
I feel like excluded right now. I have no
Do you
idea.
feel like, were you here on Monday?
Ron Sachs,
Yeah, but I know,
NCIS.
but like everyone heard
Oh,
blockchain.
it's
I was
him.
like, yeah, like yo.
NCIS.
All right.
Please.
Never heard of
We're going to do this real quick because this could get embarrassing quickly.
Oh.
Blockchain. Who here's heard of Bitcoin? Who here knows what Bitcoin is? someone do their best, right? Take a risk. Someone describe to me what they think Bitcoin is. James, I'm going to put you on the spot if you don't mind.
Online currency.
So an online or digital currency. Okay. This is like current events. This is all in the news. This is totally business. This guy talked all about it. Bitcoin, a digital currency, is enabled and built on top of what is the blockchain. The blockchain is essentially a series of protocols, meaning rules or standards, codes, that some computer scientists, who nobody really knows if it was one person, multiple people, nobody knows who put together this set of protocols, created, and this is where I'll lose myself and maybe you. Let's just say a program, a computer program, a set of code that allows information, transactions, trades between this person, this person. So these people trade some stuff, exchange some data and information, and it gets stored in an online database, let's call it, called the blockchain. I'm trying to make this as simple and as clear as I can. And the idea is that if Debut and I exchange some currency, you give me a half a Bitcoin, which is worth like $8,000 or $6,000, a half a Bitcoin. You transfer over a half a Bitcoin to me. I register that Debut sends over half a Bitcoin to Brandon. Brandon is now in possession of a half a Bitcoin. It gets logged in the blockchain, which is a registrar, which is a ledger, which is a database that records transactions. But here's the big thing that's different and the big innovation. Two big things. The ledger, the transactions are stored on multiple computers, on a distributed network, meaning Liam's computer, my computer, Sean's computer, Giselle's computer, Jensley's computer, they're all running this database in their background, and they're all storing those transactions simultaneously, so that if I go into Jensley's computer and I say, I think I'm going to change that transaction. Maybe Debu's feeling a little bit like, you know what? Kind of want my half Bitcoin back. Kind of want my $6,000 back. I think I'm going to go into the ledger and I'm going to change it so that it says Brandon gives Debut back his $6,000. All of the other people's computers that have stored that transaction, they all put up a red flag and say, no, that's not what we have. That's not the transactions that we have recorded. Somebody's messed with the ledger. Someone's gone in and manipulated and tried to take something or change something that wasn't theirs. So the whole point of a blockchain, the whole point of this set of protocols is to store transactions on multiple machines and computers in a way that if it changes, if somebody messes with it, tries to change the ledger, the whole blockchain, if this is the ledger and I go and change this transaction, Debut gives Brandon a Bitcoin. If I change this, everything before it becomes invalidated. And the whole blockchain, essentially, I'm just going to say, turns red. And everybody, and you're all looking at me like, what? What? Why? What are you talking about? Everything before it negates itself. And what all, essentially the main idea here is, it's a way to ensure trust in a ledger. And a ledger being a series of transactions that are stored. So the whole innovation behind blockchain the reason why Ron Sachs is talking about it, the reason why everybody's talking about it, is because here's the big word.
Isn't it kind of just like a more secure banking system?
It depends on who you ask. The big thing here is that it's decentralized, meaning money, cash, is a centralized currency. Who issues it? Who issues the United States dollar?
The United States government.
The United States government, the Federal Reserve. So the Federal Reserve is a central bank, and they make all the decisions, and they're the ones that guarantee the value of that dollar. When I give you a piece of paper with $100 on it, and so this is the funny part, and so this is important. If I give Debut $100 cash, what could Debut actually do? Like, what could he do with the $100 bill? Not what could he buy with it, what could he do?
Spend it.
Now what could he buy? Right. What is the purpose of a bill? Well, like, is there any use? He could rip it. He could make origami with it. It would be the most expensive piece of origami paper.
Switch it for different money.
He could switch it for another money, and then what could he do with that? You could burn it. You could eat it.
I'd probably smell it.
You could smell it. You could maybe make a coat out of it for a mouse. But you can't do anything with the dollar other than convert it into other stuff. So what is behind that dollar is trust. There is no gold.
Wait.
There is no gold anymore behind your. It used to be that I could go in and turn it in for gold, and then I could take that gold and maybe make a ring out of
I
it.
thought that's how the economy worked. I thought it was like you have so
I actually just made direct eye contact with the camera right now. Like, I looked into the camera to be like, that's how they think the economy works. Like, that's what they told us.
I thought it was just like however much gold and silver and whatnot that your Federal Reserve has, that's how much money they can make or print and distribute.
We're going to go off the rails. We can't go off the rails on this one.
Okay.
In 1971, Richard Nixon suspended the convertibility of dollars into gold.
Oh. I have a t-shirt for him.
Yeah, so
I love this.
our currency is no longer tied to gold. It's not tied to gold.
Is it tied to anything? Or is
It's tied to trust. It's tied to trust.
Oh, that's good when the trust is in the hands of the government.
So this is the point. It's tied to trust, and it's tied to trust because it is a centralized authority.
Yeah.
This is a decentralized authority. So essentially what Ron was trying to say, what I'm trying to say in my backwards way, is that it takes the power and trust out of the hands of the big institution that is the Federal Reserve, and it says the people running their computers, running the blockchain, this program that is creating these very trustful, secure transactions, have the power to create a network of trust outside of the big guys, the big institutions, if you will. And so this is the big innovation that if I go to trade you a Bitcoin, you trust that tomorrow somebody's going to accept that Bitcoin. It's going to change its value a little bit. The dollar changes value day to day off of other currencies, but not how Bitcoin can change. It fluctuates much more. But the central idea to any currency, and when I say currency, I mean fiat currency. Fiat meaning, I'm not going into it. Any paper currency, any currency that is not like paper money, I can't actually do anything. It is representative of value. Whereas if I trade you a chicken, you could get eggs from that chicken a whole bunch of times, and that's actual currency and that it has value. I could chop the chicken's head off and make myself dinner. I wouldn't do that. You know that. Go ahead.
What? So you're saying that nobody knows who made blockchain. What would, you can shut this down at any time. What would happen should that person all of a sudden be like, you know what? I'm just gonna change everything, and then messes with the entire ledger, and then makes it like, hey, everybody's Bitcoin's mine now.
Blockchain, as I understand it, that can't happen. Blockchain is not a thing. Blockchain is a set of protocols that someone developed.
Oh, that makes more sense.
Right, and so now Bitcoin runs on its own block, like it runs on the technology that is blockchain.
Yeah, somebody's not.
Yeah,
like,
there's no central authority. There's no one in a room who's sitting there that pulls all the strings on blockchain. It is distributed among many, and people use the blockchain technology protocols to create all these different currencies.
What I'm
Okay,
saying is,
yeah.
what if the creator were to just like change the code?
I don't think that would change what's happening on these distributed yeah, it's not. Yeah. So by the way, the code, I'm pretty sure the code is open source. I'm pretty sure you can go look at the code for blockchain. I think.
That's spooky.
Okay. Who here feels so much more informed and just has a deep, deep understanding? Yeah. I mean, that was the best I can do. The best I can do to tell you is blockchain is a series of protocols that people invented. Protocols meaning we're going to do this, then we're going to do this, and we're going to do this. Meaning they created a protocol on a digital platform by coding it that says, here's how we're going to keep a decentralized ledger that all of the people are going to be able to maintain and update outside of the bounds of large institutions. It's going to be held on multiple computers. Therefore, if I screw with James's computer, the 5 other computers that this blockchain is running, and by the way, it's thousands of computers that it's running on, and it does so by solving really, never mind, complex math problems. Trust. The main idea here, and if you hear, I'll give this in layman's terms, the main idea here is that for so long, trust, you needed a centralized authority. You needed a big organization, institution to say, we can put out this currency, we're going to back it by gold, therefore you know that we can't just print it like out of control. No more. So trust us. We will make sure that tomorrow your dollars are worth what they were worth today. This is a way of creating decentralized trust among many people outside of large institutions. And what Ron's working on, as I understood it, he's then going and saying, on your computers, you're not using your full processing power. At any given time, you're maybe using 10, 20% of the processing power on your computer. If you ever do something on Photoshop and your computer starts acting real slow and it starts lagging, well, that means you're using lots of computing power and it's trying to do these calculations. But if you're just on Word typing something, it's got lots of extra room. What I think Ron's trying to do is connect all of your computers together in a secure way to use your extra excess computing power that you're not using to maintain blockchains, to maintain these ledgers. And if I connect 100 million small computers together, it's like I have one giant supercomputer that costs millions and millions of dollars in a basement being super cooled so that it doesn't If I can connect all your computers securely, we can create this big sort of supercomputer that's distributed all around the world, which is what I think he's working on, which makes me think that.
But isn't blockchain already distributed all the world?
It is. And so now you need really powerful computers to host the blockchain on your computer. You need a ton of computing power. So much so that people who are doing this are locating their computers in areas where energy costs are really low because it costs thousands and thousands of dollars to just actually pull the electricity and the energy you need to run these massive, powerfully computers that are hosting this, and I keep saying hosting the blockchain, that are, yeah. So I think they're going to try to go to this distributed network so that you don't have to.
That way it's more cost and energy efficient.
Cost, energy efficient, and more democratized.
Okay.
More democratized. Okay, and scene, done. Any other big questions that anybody has? We're getting towards the end of the class. We've gone through the business plan. I've given you what I know about the business plan. We've done the lessons for the class. We're 2 classes away from in-class presentations, which then start to go towards perfecting the pitch and the presentation. So in a formal classroom setting, this is one of the last times that we really have in formal classroom. I mean, we have another month, but it changes up. Anything you want to know, anything you got questions about, questions for each other? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, time flies. Anybody? Anybody?
Can I get Ron Sack's information?
Yes. All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to work independently. I'm going to come around, I'm going to check in with everybody, but then I also can set up my computer on this screen, and if you want to go over some presentation skills, if you want to present or pitch or get some feedback on how you're saying a particular thing, how you would present particular information, I want to give you the opportunity to get up there with the clicker to move through your slides. So it will be pretty informal in that I'll be popping around talking to people about their plans. You'll be just using this time to the best of your ability. Mookie's been doing it the whole time. I love it. I can't knock it. It's fine. It's good. Use the time to get your plans done. Questions for me before we break off into independent work time? Great. Who needs help first? You just asked if you wanted to meet. Yeah.